might go in 2 weeks, Joe.
Joe Rico, Alex Ramirez, we are here. We are back at the final word on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. Yes, you can catch us this time every Sunday up until about a few weeks from now, Alejandro, where we will be moving up in the lineup as the start of the NFL season began last night with your Denver Broncos with a 30-9 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. Yep. I'll bring in my partner, Alejandro Ramirez, for the last 13 years. Yeah. Your thoughts? The Broncos win, but did they really win? 30-9. Your thoughts on the preseason game?
It's preseason, Joey. It's preseason, man. And at the end of the day, it's preseason. And yes, they won 30-9. What you have to look at is some of the different dynamics that happened in that game. For example, Nick Bonito. I mean, that's our boy, Nick Bonito. He
2 sacks on 2 consecutive plays. Not bad.
He did more than that. 2.5 sacks and 2 possessions, 2.5 sacks. And he
I'm just saying, he had 2 on 2 consecutive plays. It's pretty badass.
Well, what do you think, man? What do you think, man?
He's a beast, man. That's what I think, man.
Hey, the man. Here we go. It was 2.5 sacks, 4 pressures, 3 QB hits, and a half sack and a defensive 2 defensive drives. Yeah.
Well, all I have to say is this:
do you pay the man
friend of ours? Of course you do. Look, man, we've been on the pay Nick Bonito train since we had him in studio back in October. He was kind enough to join us at the bye week on his own time because of our charity event with him. Yep. You know, he went out there a couple weeks ago when you were at practice, gave us a warm greeting, gave me a hug during training camp. That's unheard of. And, you know, he really cares about the community of Denver. And that guy's a beast. You paid Zach Allen. Make it easy on yourself. Save yourself some money, because what's going to happen, Alex, is if this guy goes out and gets 14 more sacks, and we know his agent, and she doesn't play around. And nobody's agent, right, Nick? I'll bring you into this. You know, you got to, if you don't pay this man now and he goes out and has 18 sacks this year, you're going to pay him a lot more next year, correct?
Oh, yeah. The sooner you get it done, the more the Broncos can probably save.
But is he going to be a hometown discount like Derek Wolf was?
No.
I don't think so, right, guys?
You're right. And look, man, but I think he knows where he fits right now. I think right now you can get him for about 27. But if you go out and see, Myles Garrett got 41.5. So if you give, let's say Nick Bonito gets more sacks this year than Myles Garrett, let's just pencil him in for 12 sacks. You can pretty much guarantee Myles Garrett for 12, right? Nick Bonito, let's say he gets 16, Alex. You guaranteed right now.
It won't get there.
You're going to get a lot of money.
It won't get there. I think it will happen.
I do too.
Eventually.
Did he earn his money last night?
I mean, come on, Joe. 2.5 defensive possessions, and he has 2.5 sacks almost.
He was in the backfield more than the 49ers running backs.
He's aggressive. Yes, he's aggressive. When people say, oh, well, you know, he was playing against the second team. It doesn't matter, man. He came in there. He crushed it. I was over at my family's house for a birthday party. Yeah, we were watching this on the patio outside in the beautiful pool view. And I was telling my cousins, I'm like, look at this is a guy that needs to get paid right now, and he proved it. Back-to-back plays. He destroys the corner, and you can't handle it. You can't stop that.
No, you can't. Hey, by the way, man. So, and I have one thing with you on preseason. Look, pump the brakes. Bo Nix, I understand, 6 for 11. Jarrett Stidham, he looked all worldly, 14 for 15. But I'm going to give Jarrett Stidham some credit. Okay, last year he took a lot of flack.
Great last night.
Look, he took a lot of flack last year.
He's been part of the system for 3 years, though.
Right. Well, all I'm saying is, I mean, the guy showed up. When you go 14 for 15, I don't care if it's practice, I don't care if it's preseason, whatever. That speaks for itself. Congratulations, because there was a lot of people who wanted Zach Wilson here for the backup quarterback, not Jarrett Stidham. And I think Jarrett Stidham just kind of answered some questions that if Bo Nix goes down, we're going to be okay for 3 or 4 weeks. And that's good to have in the NFL because it's good. 100% injury rate, right?
Well, everything's 100% injury. You're going to get injured regardless, Joey. And real quick, this segment is presented to you by Suavecito Tequila. Bill Foss.
Yeah.
Is out here, and he's going to hang out with us this afternoon. He'll be on the second segment.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about today. We're going to feature the Cristalino. But at the end of the day, Joey, we talk about football, all right? And last night, Denver Broncos performed like they should have performed. Now, did they perform as well as that Sean Payton wanted to do? His arrogant, you know, me and Sean Payton have a relationship.
A little beef.
But at the end of the day, he told the press last night, he said, hey, listen, you're going to have some unmasked individuals that come out and play, and you have to be prepared for that. And the Broncos were. Jarrett Stidham, now with his third year with this regime, he looked great, man. And you're right. If Bo Nix were to go down, Jarrett Stidham's ready to go, man.
Yeah, and the other thing that's nice is I think the one thing I like to see is the depth. People talk about, we know the first string for the Denver Broncos. Most NFL teams are pretty good football players, but once you get to that second string, that's where the championship, people who win, because everybody's going to get hurt. Your guard's going to go down, your linebacker's going to go down. And I always kind of like to see in the preseason how these backup players play. And last night, I think the backups played way better than the starters. The starters on both sides of the ball were not very good for the Broncos.
You're not going to win. I was telling my cousins last night, you can't win an AFC West title when Bo Nix, they look clunky. Is that what they said? They look clunky. They didn't look polished. Of course, they're not going to look polished.
Right.
And that's my question to Troy Renck last week. I said, listen, now with the shortened preseason games, now it's like, okay, the first week of the season, you're going to have to start that's your real testament. That's why the cab driver special, Joe. That's why the cab driver special comes up. When I talk to my guys in Las Vegas,
they say the first 4 weeks,
don't touch them. Don't talk to them.
But listen to me.
They're not doing the same thing.
I got it. But listen to me about one thing. I'm not sounding any alarms, okay? But, the guy takes his safety, okay? He doesn't react well to the play, all right? And all I'm saying is this guy's a second-year guy. Don't put him in the Hall of Fame yet. I don't want to hear anything.
Why did he even play?
Go out. Well, okay, I agree with you. I'm in 100% agreement with you because right now
Christian McCaffrey didn't play.
Well, I'm going to say this.
He's going to play. Didn't play.
Well, let me just say this.
But CMC's coming off an injury too.
No, I get that. Season. I understand that.
But Brock Purdy didn't play. And he's not coming off injury. He just signed a new contract, as a matter of fact.
And he's coming off a Brock Purdy performance.
Right, I get it. But different. No, what it is different coaches, different philosophies.
Yeah,
Sean Payton, an old school guy. Kyle Shanahan, a new school guy. Yeah. That's the difference, right? I mean, Sean's 60, Kyle's 42.
And
I think the thinking is
Payton's
different.
a little older than that, isn't he?
Sean's 60. He might be 61, excuse me. He's 60 or 61. But the point is, he's different the way he thinks than a 42-year-old Kyle Shanahan, more of a new wave thinker.
I agree.
And I do think this. I think it's a waste of time if you know somebody's a starter. If you know Patrick Surtain is going to be there each and every week, put him on the shelf because it only takes one play, one broken hand, one torn ACL, and the season is different. And these are your best players I'm talking about. Drew Brees, he had no reason to play in the preseason. I don't think Sean played him his last couple of years.
Let me ask you this then, Joe. Preseason doesn't mean anything because if they don't, guess what? First week against the Broncos play the
Titans.
Week
that's
1.
going to be a preseason game.
That's a preseason game for the Broncos.
For both teams. For both teams. Now, it can't
Cam did great in his first opening
I was going to say, and also that let's go back to our other big story, which our affiliation with the CU program. We'll start with Shedeur because we're on the NFL right now, and then we'll work back to media day.
Don't get me started right now,
but I'm excited for this. Well, I'm excited, and you and I should both be fired up, right? I mean, we're side by side in that press box. You're not just there; we're there. And what I'm saying is that Shedeur Sanders, we watched this kid come in out of Jackson State. We had no idea. We went to the greatest press conference I've ever been to in the history of my career.
His introductory
press conference still gives me goosebumps. I don't care if you like him or not. This is what I feel. The coach he is the most. When he speaks, he controls the room. He's a powerful speaker. Powerful speaker, probably the most powerful speaker I've ever seen from a head coach. And that's why people don't like him. But you and I like him because he likes us. And the end of the day is he doesn't care how big you are or what you think of his program. Coach Prime, I was so proud. And you're a cancer survivor. So forget about football. We're there, and he's tweeting out about his son. And Shedeur comes off the field, and he goes, Dad, I know I didn't make you the way, I didn't get it done exactly the way woo-woo. The kid was 14 to 23, 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's a psychopath on the field, comes out with his entourage before the game, does a rap video. I mean, he is Shedeur Sanders, and he's going to do it his way.
And from my understanding now, Jimmy Haslam, the owner, and the GMs were like, well, we just wanted to give him a shot, because at the end of the day, Joe Flacco will be the starter at this team. What I didn't like about that whole game is that Flacco wasn't even in dress. He was in dress. He was talking to the NFL Network reporters. Right. And I'm like, okay, dude, listen, man, give some love to the kid that's trying to do something well. And maybe you not like him. Guess what? The NFL messed up. And I'm going to say it. And I don't want to be Colin Cowherd came out last night, and I resonate what he said. 143 teams passed up Shedeur Sanders.
143 picks, not teams.
4 picks. On the 144th pick, which was the 5th round pick, that's where he got drafted. Right. Now, you're talking about Dylan Gabriel, who was a kid that they traded up to get him. Right. And now he's obviously Shedeur. If Shedeur Sanders does not get an opportunity to start, then shame on the freaking Browns, because they're such crappy organization. They gave $230 million to Deshaun Watson, who's sitting on a yacht right now, going, yeah, I'm doing my recovery.
He was there Thursday. He was actually.
It doesn't matter, Joe. It doesn't matter, man. Well, whatever he's doing, man. At the end of the day, man, Shedeur Sanders shocked the NFL on Friday night, and if you don't like that,
did he though?
Shame on you. Yes, he did. Yes,
I don't think he did. I think most everybody is behind Shedeur right now, fan wise. He didn't shock. I mean,
for those who
I think people understand.
Yeah.
The general public understands what Shedeur is. Plus, you got to remember too, when Joe Flacco was here, he's already said he's not a teacher. He's here to win a job, and he's going to do the exact same thing in Cleveland he did in Denver. He's going to show up and he's going to play, and he's not going to care about anybody below him, because they're below him.
And I understand Joe Flacco, because he's 41 years old. I think he has 10 kids, or he has a tremendous amount of kids. And I know for a fact, I mean, you know that. You know him and his
Phillip
wife.
Rivers?
Yeah, no, he is. He's like Phillip. Well, he's challenging him.
Whole other guy.
Yeah, Phillip's got 10, and I think Flacco has 7. But my point is, it's not his job to mentor him, and he doesn't have to, because Shedeur
why
Sanders,
would the Cleveland Browns not want to push Shedeur week 1 against Cincinnati, man?
Okay, here's the thing. They're not going to do it. They've already publicly stated that Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback in week 1 for the Cleveland Browns when they open up the season. Now, is that right or wrong? That's to be determined, because Shedeur Sanders, he played in that football game as well as any other first-round draft pick that I've ever seen in an NFL game in their first preseason game. I don't care if it's Peyton Manning. I don't care. You name him, and you look at the statistics.
Dude, Mel Kiper came out and said that was my number 1 quarterback coming out of this draft.
Right. Well, he stuck by that, by the way. Mel Kiper has stood by him as the number 1 pick. And that throw he made, and I can't name the receiver, number 89. And you've seen the highlight. It went viral, where he's throwing the ball through a 1-yard window, and he throws the ball at about 70 miles an hour. Remember, he had an arm strength question. Didn't look like there was a problem with the arm strength there. And the announcer then points out that Shedeur Sanders led the NCAA in completion percentage last year at 73.4%. You know who led the league the year before? Bo Nix, who was picked 12th overall, and he had a 77% completion percentage at the University of Oregon. How's one guy picked 12th overall and the other guy picked 144th? You know why?
What?
It's because who his dad is.
All right, real quick.
Absolutely a knock against
I'm not going to go too aggressive with this, but let's talk about the Savannah Bananas.
All right, man. Hey, well, finish up with Shedeur real quick, man.
Shedeur's going to be a star. He's going to be a star, Joe. He's going to be a star.
Somebody will pick this guy up if you.
Why would he be picked up? He's going to stay with the Cleveland Browns.
I hope so.
They are idiots.
Remember, they are the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns. But I want to just
Browns.
real quick. I want to pivot real quick. I want to pivot. I just want to pivot.
Sure, Nick's in the banana shirt.
Nick was last night at the Savannah Bananas, Colorado Rockies. Finally, a real team shows up to Coors Field. Finally, and you got Ubaldo Jimenez, you got Vinny Castilla out there participating in the Savannah Bananas. How is it? They call it the Globetrotters. Right. Was it the Generals they were playing last night, Nick?
No, it's not quite the Globetrotters. They're actually trying, and the Bananas aren't guaranteed to win.
Why was the stadium full though?
Because it's different. It's not actual baseball. It's entertainment. These guys are doing trick plays, and they're out there on stilts. They're doing dances in between. They're getting the crowd involved. Before the game started, they did what they called the banana in the pants. And so a banana and a firefighter were up on the 3rd deck, and they would throw a banana out onto the field, and the guy had to catch it in an extremely baggy pair of sweats. And they moved all the way from the foul poles, and they went towards home plate.
If they do it? Do they get a point or something? How does it contribute?
Well, they're just keeping track, and it's just bragging rights. Yeah,
okay.
It's fun. It's
for
interaction.
So the Yankees are going to the playoffs. Milwaukee has the best record in baseball.
Okay.
What is that?
Hold on.
Hold on, Joe. I'm
it's
just asking.
fun.
What the hell? Yeah, it's
Because
fun.
it's different.
I can go have fun and go play basketball.
It's not. First of all, it's not fun for everybody. Okay. First of all, there are Major League
Because you're
Baseball
overthinking
people.
it.
I get it, but there are people who, and let me tell you why it sells here, because the baseball team sucks.
No,
That's
it's
why.
not just
Yeah,
that.
that's one of the reasons.
Yes,
No.
it does.
That is
yes,
one-
yes, that's one of
Okay,
the
hold on.
reasons.
Can I have my opinion?
Go ahead, Joe.
Please
Go ahead, Joe.
for it.
Go ahead.
Go
for
for
it.
Speak if that's okay. All right. So here's the deal. This is my opinion. You can argue your opinion when I'm done.
Oh,
with
I
mine.
will.
My opinion is that the Colorado Rockies are a pathetic organization at 30-8. I mean, they just aren't even worth talking about. So therefore, even though the Bananas are popular everywhere, they are easily going to sell out in Coors Field because we don't have baseball anyway. When you say gimmick baseball, I'd rather watch the Bananas. And it was a testament last night as the crowd was all the way over by my good friend Bill Foss's house out the street. You know, last Rockies game I've ever seen anybody out the street for? That was in 2018 when they used to have a decent baseball team here. When the Savannah Bananas are a better item and a better choice for my family than the actual Major League team,
That's a problem.
that's a big problem. And that tells you how pathetic the Major League franchise is here. Get them out of Colorado. I wouldn't care if the Colorado Rockies announced they were moving to Las Vegas. I would say get out.
Again, it's low-lying fruit. It's easy for you to just bash them when they're already on the ground.
They're horrible.
They're getting.
They're
I'm
nothing.
gonna continue to say.
who the defense attorney team is, but the Rockies.
But okay, you wanted to argue, but I can't get my words in.
Good.
So here's the deal, though. This team has a little shift in leadership now because the younger Monfort is taking over. They're starting to get these young kids up here. They called up Karros the other night. Karros was looking pretty good. He's playing third base. Eric Karros' son.
Right.
You're not going to change the organization in a flash. This organization is not going to change that quickly. This is not football where you need 2-star players to really turn your organization around. This is going to take some work, and they're doing that. They're trading players like Ryan McMahon to get prospects because that's the only way you're going to get pitching. Nobody's going to sign here. And add to that, this is a different type of baseball because it's a family-oriented game. This is going to get little kids excited. This is going to get them to want to play. These aren't major league ball players. They're former minor leaguers and former college players. And they're doing what they can to grow the game because that's what they want to do. And they make it relatively easy for families to afford right now because you don't pay taxes. You don't pay fees. The Bananas pay all that for you. So when they say your t-shirt's $35, your t-shirt's $35. Your hat is $30.
Like the same one
and
you
they're
have on
well
right now.
priced.
Yeah.
You know, these games go from $45 to $60. Those are your ticket prices.
Do you think the Yankees or the Red Sox would have Bananas playing there when they're in?
They already played in Fenway.
Have they?
Yeah.
So here's where I understand where Alex is going though. Okay, they might have played at Yankee Stadium. They might have played at Fenway. It might have even been successful because there's a lot of people in those towns that just may want a family thing. But if you're telling me that the impact, like the Colorado, there are no serious baseball fans here in Colorado in my mind.
It's because Colorado's a football
right.
state.
It's a fun game. The Rockies sell out whether they're good or not.
So we got to bring in the Globetrotters in, Joey, to
the
spice it up a little bit.
Bananas to spice it up. And good job, by the way.
Good for them. Good for them.
It's just to grow the game. And these are
I get it.
These are guys that want to play baseball still.
You know who really grows the game? Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Aaron Judge.
Those guys are dead, Joe. Not Aaron Judge, but
Major League Baseball players grow the game. Like Dion, my son Dion. He watches Shohei Ohtani. He could care less about the Bananas because he wants to be a real Major League player.
Look at the Globetrotters.
I get it, but the Globetrotters and the Bananas are different. The Globetrotters are historically, they had different meanings. What the Globetrotters meant to socializing things. I don't want to ever compare that to the Bananas.
Hold on, let's put it back. Hold on, let's push it back a little bit. Can you give us a little background who the Bananas were? Because they were actually a AAA team, and they actually had players.
Well, they were kind of a AAA team, and then they started losing money. So they were independent ball. And so they found a different way to start selling tickets, a different way to get people to start coming to games. Right. And they found a unique way of playing baseball. These guys are doing trick plays. They're doing backflips, catching a ball in the outfield. They're throwing the ball between their legs to roll a double play. And
it's not baseball, man.
It's fun. It's not. This is, of all people, the guy that says baseball is boring Is the one that's complaining about that's not baseball.
But we've dedicated
Make up your mind.
Hey, wait, you said you're flipping it over. I'm flipping it over. Okay, we're done with the bananas. We got real sports.
I do want one of those shirts.
Hey, the bananas.
I was at Dick's Sporting Goods buying. Joe,
gimmick,
I was at Dick's Sporting Goods yesterday buying a gift for my my cousin.
I bet you the bananas merchandise sold
Dude,
more than
there
the
were
Rockies
banana
merchandise.
shirts everywhere.
Sure, I would have bought. I'd
Like,
buy
why
a
would I do
bananas
that?
shirt, but
Why would
I would buy a bananas jersey right now before I would ever buy a Colorado Rockies jersey. All right, here we go.
That's horrible.
That is horrible, and I hope to feel differently someday. I'd love to actually go to a stadium in this time of year, the best time
That
of year
game was
for
on
baseball.
ESPN too last night. I was watching
Right.
it.
And
It
when
was
they,
amazing.
how many games have the Rockies been on ESPN this year?
I have no idea.
I can tell you,
I don't
it's a
even
big
care.
fat zero.
I do not even
and
care.
does anybody else in the country know? They're pathetic. Move them out. I could care less if the team ever plays another baseball game in Colorado. 33 years, the most miserable franchise, the poorest ownership, and we're around great owners like Bill Foss. The poorest ownership I've ever seen.
Nick, you're
Oakland says hi, by the way.
Who says hi?
Oakland says hi, by the way.
Oakland's no longer there, are they? They're smarter than Colorado. They moved.
They're not.
They're not in Oakland.
They
They're going
abandoned their fans
Dude,
and they went to
and guess where they're
Sacramento.
going?
Las
$1 billion.
Vegas.
They are going to $1 billion stadium in Las Vegas where they are going to have the red carpet rolled out. They've already sold 27,000 season tickets in Vegas.
I think
That's a real fan.
I think that's
There's
the
real
entire-
fans there. Real fans there. The Oakland A's did not give that town anything. That Coliseum was a joke. It would hurt people. It was an embarrassment to baseball. And you know what? At least the Montforts have Coors Field. I'll give them that. But other than that, it's the same franchise. As a matter of fact, the A's had better front office and are more competitive now this year in Sacramento in a high school stadium, a college stadium. Moneyball. Moneyball. But at the end of the day, don't get me started. The Rockies and the Savannah Bananas.
Why do you keep convincing yourself that this is a baseball town, Nick?
I never said it's a baseball town. I never said it will be.
I know. I'm just saying
it's a football town.
Right? It's a football town.
But give me good baseball.
We have to bring in a freaking
the bananas.
The bananas here to sell out Coors Field. People are like, oh my god, and they're selling out great seats and ticket sales.
By the way, the seats behind home plate, they were filled up for the bananas. Those seats are empty. 35% of the games I've watched the Rockies when you can.
You know
see
what it made me sound like?
By the way, where do you
the
watch
Titans,
the Rockies on
the
TV
mighty,
anymore?
mighty Titans. Who we are, and it was just ridiculous to see. I love the fact that was a weekend off that the Colorado Rockies had. The Globetrotters in town this weekend.
That's good.
But at the end of the day, it's good for the fans. Good for the fans.
Hey, let's flip
baseball,
it over,
pure Joey.
And let's flip it over back. real
Rockies
quick.
suck.
Hey,
and they do these little gimmicks to get you back involved in the stadium.
Give me a break.
I'm sorry.
Field a real baseball team. Field a 500 baseball team. Try that.
Show me a pitcher who doesn't have a ERA.
That's ERA.
6 points.
Yeah, exactly. And
as a starter, your ace.
Yeah, it's a joke. By the way, we don't have an ace. We haven't had an ace here in many.
Freeland's our guy. What's Freeland's ERA?
I don't even. Is he even pitching right now?
Yeah, he's our ace.
Yeah, he pitched.
Yeah. What was his ERA?
I think he's 2. What was he? He was 2-11 the last time.
Right now.
What is it?
He's sitting around 5 right now.
Well, that's not as bad as it was. At one time, I think it was 18.
What's his record though?
He's 2-11.
Something.
He's 2-11. I think.
A lot.
Well, it's 2 a lot.
Not always.
It's not all his fault. No. Exactly. All right. So that is the Rockies in a nutshell. It's not Dick Monsford's fault. Just keep shelling your money out. Go buy some more popcorn.
Yeah, go to Red Rocks. Go see the view.
Yeah,
go.
What did you used to say? It's like Disneyland. Hey, there's Todd Helton. Wave, Todd. Hey, guys, come ride the roller coaster. All right. Go to Coors Field. All right.
Hey, this is where the Beatles played one time.
We're 30
great.
We're 30-81.
I love it. Keep going to the games. Yeah. Pay $20 beers.
Who would win a game between the Savannah Bananas and the Colorado Rockies?
That's a great question. That's the poll question that we want to ask. Yes. Who would win a real game?
Who would win a real game between the Savannah Bananas and the Colorado Rockies? We'll put that on our Facebook page.
Dude, that might be.
And we'll make that the Suavecito poll question today. Wow. And I would actually put money up.
Joe.
If I was a multi-millionaire, I would put up $10 million to.
And a lot of these guys from the Savannah have won World Series.
Right?
The Bananas. No, some of these guys when they play for Boston, a lot of those guys that came out as like the Ubaldo Jimenez and the.
They only have like
they're just honorary.
They're just they're not actual players.
But these other guys are single A, double A guys, right? Guys
they're minor leaguers or college
guys. Were there any
guys.
triple A guys in the Bananas organization?
I have to go through their roster and see.
I think they have a chance then.
I think there are more championships right now on the Savannah Bananas.
I agree.
Overall National League roster when they do these little player presentations with Ubaldo
and the Colorado
or
Rockies.
Vinny Castilla comes in as a guest. Batting third, Benny Castilla, El Matador, El Matador. You know, they bring all these guys out here, and then you bring out his team. And that's, I think, what's the problem with baseball with this. I'm not saying it's a problem with the Savannah Bananas, but I think that kids are watching this stuff. Kids that want to be aspiring, that want to be a baseball player, and they see these funny games and
gimmicks. Hey,
throwing the balls on a double play.
I don't think that's going to get him in the major leagues.
I don't think that's a good, healthy way to promote the sport. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the Globetrotters play the. Hold on, the Globetrotters play the Generals, Joey.
I spoke too much
for years and years.
I spoke too much about this. We've got to move on. It's almost break time. Thank goodness. We got Bill Foss in a couple minutes. Let's also tell you, Troy Renck will be on after this. But for the next minute and a half, I got to break down. Me and Alex will give a quick opinion of CU Media Day. We were out there Friday. Our good friend Coach Prime, obviously back from bladder cancer. God bless him. Thank God he's back. We got to watch and talk to our good friend Alejandro Mata, El Matador. And Alex, you might have heard Alex sing El Matador and do a little dance. I thought it was pretty cool. But we had a great interview with him. And the other thing that's great about CU this year is, as much as I think it's good that they don't have a bunch of attention. You know, you had Shador. Last year was just like glamour.
It was a circus.
It was kind of last year. This media day was just like a normal media day, right?
It was really a normal media day. And, you know, when we showed up to the parking lot, normally we would have to park at different locations. This was, hey, just park here. You're good to go, guys. Yep. But at the same time, I think the glitz and glamour is gone, and now we have to figure out
football,
what the Colorado Buffaloes are all about.
Yeah.
And yes, he has all these amazing coaches. Warren Sapp, Hall of Famer. He's got Marshall Faulk, Hall of Famer. Byron Leftwich, a great quarterback that played a lot
couple
of
years All Pro,
right?
Good
and Pat Shermer, player. And then you got Ron Livingston. He's a defensive coordinator. Yep. And so there's a lot of different dynamics. The Buffs are returning six starters. Robert Livingston,
good guy though.
Buffs are returning 6 starters this year. So there's not a lot of expectations right now. We have not really a quarterback controversy at this point, but you got
a duel going on.
Stelters. You got the number one
Juju
Lewis last year. So and when we'll talk about it. Well, I'll save it. We'll
Ryan
talk.
Schaub, man. I wonder where he fits in. He was up on the podium. I have no idea what he's going to do this year.
I don't know.
But that's what I mean. We don't know, right? I mean, last 2 years, we knew. It's Shedeur Sanders. We don't know anything about these. We don't know any of these guys.
It's interesting, Joe. When you see all the
3 quarterbacks up there.
Yeah, but the third one's on you.
Well, I understand, but I'm like, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
No. When you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Right.
But God forbid we ask that question up at CU Media Day, because then we wouldn't be there anymore. But at the same time, there's one of the greatest recruits of all time, Juju Lewis. He's got tons of NIL deals. He's like a corporation going up there.
Yeah.
His dad's
got more money than I do.
His dad has got a lot of influence on his deal.
Yeah.
And you got a 5th-year quarterback, Keaton Salter from Liberty University.
Yeah, man.
And another big quarterback.
Running quarterback, though. More of a running guy.
So we don't know where they're going with this. So they may have a 2-headed monster. Who knows, Joe? I have no idea.
Well, a lot of people are saying they might alternate Salter and Lewis, not every series, but, they have different
Is that
packages.
a good, healthy system, though?
In college, it can be done. Not in the pros. You can't do it in the pros. But in college, you've got these specialty players all over the place now. And you kind of even see that in the NFL with guys like Taysom Hill and different guys, packages that are built for guys. But you can't do it full-time. No you've got to have one guy calling the signals. And, I think the biggest thing that I took out of the media day is all the glitz and glamour, like you said. It's not going to be that this year. Yeah, you might see a concert, or you might still see Coach Prime bring, but that's all been done before, right? We've already seen that act. Now it's about wins, losses. I mean, Coach Prime's kids are not there. Travis Hunter was kind of like his son to him. Jimmy Horn, kind of like his son to him. He's got to rebuild all these new relationships. But I will say he looked good. When we talked to him, his face looked good. He was smiling. He looked confident. And I will say the Big 12's up for grabs. There isn't like a big dominant team.
I wouldn't say that.
You got K-State.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'm not saying CU's going to be in that mix, but I'm saying there isn't a 14-0, 13-0 football team in there where they're a national powerhouse. Like in the SEC, CU'd be in a lot of trouble. But I could see, I've got CU at 6 to 7 wins, and I think that's with no injuries. Injuries, I might go down, but I think 6 to 7 wins would be a good year for the Buffs this year.
Listen, if they get 5 wins, I'm pretty happy, Joey.
Okay.
And this is me, Mr. Buff, man. I'm telling you right now, with 6 starters are coming back, with the entire coaching staff that is obviously with Coach Prime's under his tutelage. I don't believe, and you mentioned this question too. Just because you have all these Hall of Fame coaches, that doesn't mean you have Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, they're not playing. I mean, these guys stopped playing a long time ago.
I can coach you up, Joey, as much as I can. I can make you the greatest offensive tackle in the world.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, man, if you're not ready to go, man, and you're not a player that can, I mean, let's just take.
Hey, wait, real quick, Jordan Seaton. I was just gonna say,
yeah,
you just
Jordan
made me think of him.
Jordan Seaton.
But you saw that dude, and he looks like he's trimmed down about. I mean, you and him, me and you both looked at each other.
He's an Outland Trophy
who was
candidate.
Who said that? Troy, right?
Yeah.
Troy Renck.
He's an Outland Trophy candidate.
But didn't Troy tell us that that looks like an NFL offensive tackle?
Yes.
Like he looks like a lot different.
He can't block everybody.
Hey, dude, listen, buddy, we got to get rolling to break. It's already way past the time for our man, Bill Foss. He's coming at you during the NFL season for the Suavecito halftime show each and every week. He'll talk to you about the Broncos preseason game and much, much more, including our preview of the Cristalino when you return to this Final Word YouTube on the My Life Sports YouTube channel.
My name is Anthony Mayer, owner and founder of Game Time PDR. We're located in north part of Denver, 6825 Broadway, pretty much on Highway 36 and I-25. So we specialize in repairing hail damaged vehicles. My technicians have special rods, and the goal is to get the tools underneath the dents. And with the special lights and the angles, they're able to actually massage the metal back to factory standards. We offer a done-for-you service from top to bottom. Literally, the customer doesn't have to do anything. They bring their vehicle to us. We get them under our specialty lights. We write up an estimate, submit them to the insurance, get it approved from the insurance, get it in production, get it washed up, and get it back to the customer. We do waive deductibles up to $1,000, and anybody that mentions the Colorado Spartans, we're giving them a $200 gift card. Go Spartans!
My name is Anthony with Plunge Plus Plumbing. We've been in business for 16 years. We service from Longmont to Castle Rock and everywhere in between. We specialize in service work, underground sewers, water heaters, drain cleaning, faucet repair. If it's in your home, we fix it. We also ensure that our customer service is top notch and customer satisfaction is our utmost priority. Our motto is honest service, honest price. We're not going to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need or that you don't want. We'll just take care of the issue at hand and be on our way. Most of the time we can get there same day. If you need plumbing, give us a shout. 720-434-5832. Or you can reach us on our website at plungeplus.com. We are proud sponsors of The Final Word.
With millions of page views every year, ColoradoPreps.com is the #1 source for the high school sports community to keep up with the latest news and scores. From football and volleyball to basketball and softball, ColoradoPreps.com provides a year-round hub for coaches, friends, and family to stay connected to their favorite schools and athletes, and keep an eye on their rivals. Covering high school sports from the peaks to the plains, you always get the latest at ColoradoPreps.com.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila. Suavecito Tequila is unique from any other tequila for 3 main reasons. The first one is my agave farm in Mexico. It's an hour and a half south of Guadalajara, and it's up in the mountains at a 7,000-foot altitude. So we have mountain-grown agave. Americans hear about mountain-grown coffee and mountain-grown grapes. They never hear about mountain-grown agave, okay? Only 8 or 9% of all tequilas are made with Highlands agave, and it's superior to Lowlands agave. Number 2, I extra age my tequilas. To be a reposado, it has to be stored in a barrel for 2 months. I keep it there for 9 months. The añejo has to be in the barrel 1 year. I keep it 2 years. The extra añejo has to be in the barrel 3 years. I age it 5 years. That extra aging just gives it more body, more texture, and more flavor. And last but not least, we're the only tequila that adds 2% agave nectar back into the tequila. This little bit of agave nectar eliminates the burn going down your throat. Makes Suavecito Tequila the smoothest tequila you will ever drink.
is your profession. This is blasting. This is madness. Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender. This is Sparta!
All right, we are back. Joe Rico, Alex Ramirez, the final word on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. And we are here with our great friend Bill Foss from Suavecito Tequila. And Bill, well, it's always a great time to talk with you. Alex and I love you, and we love Suavecito Tequila. Let's start off by talking a little bit about Denver Broncos football. Last night was the first preseason game of the year. Bo Nix in the offense looked a little rough, but the Broncos do get the win 30-9. Jarrett Stidham, the star of the game, 14-15, really looked good. And so what it told me is, hey, the Broncos have maybe a little more depth this year. So if people get hurt, the Broncos might not be in too much trouble, might be okay. Good morning to you and your thoughts on the first game. And of course, hopefully you and I both got to enjoy some Suavecito Tequila with the game.
Absolutely. And what you said earlier in your show is 100% correct. Looks like the team has really great depth. As you mentioned, Stidham, the second string quarterback, played great. He looked super.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's great, man. He's third year in the system. He should be looking good.
No, he was looking great. And as you guys also said, if Bo Nix gets hurt, what a great team to be able to bring on somebody that is as good as Stidham is. If Bo gets hurt, let's hope Bo doesn't get hurt. But if he does, we're going to be just as good, I think, as we are, the rest of the time.
Bill, how much do you believe that? Real quick, I know you could always give so many cliches, but do you really firmly believe? And good morning to everybody here at Bill Foss, owner and founder of Suavecito Tequila, the Blanco, the Reposado, Cristalino, Anejo, Single Barrel Anejo, and the Extra Anejo. How much do you really believe that? I know you had some notes. You were watching the game and you were tracking it, but how really do you believe that if Bo Nix goes down, do you think Jarrett Stidham is going to be the guy that can really carry us through if that injury were to happen?
Based upon what I saw last night, yes, I do believe that. Okay. He might not be as, if Bo Nix is 100% type of person that you rate him, I think Stidham's rated 95 easily.
Well, the one thing I will say, and this, Alex, it all starts up front with the big boys, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing I was impressed with was our good friend Nick Benito. Yep. You met. Oh boy, that guy is a guy that Bill, you're a successful businessman. Ownership probably wants to deal with that guy, right? Because what I was saying in the first segment is if you don't pay this guy now and he goes out and has, 20 sacks, and if he had 2.5, what'd you say, Alex? He only had 2.5 possessions,
4 pressures, 3 QB hits, 1.5 sacks, and 2 defensive drives.
Yeah, and that's in 2 possessions.
2 possessions.
That's pretty insane, Bill.
Insane. No, he was great.
Would you pay this guy now rather than risk the chance of maybe losing him as a free agent?
Personally, I'd pay him now. Yep, no question.
Well, Alex, you know what? You're one of those guys that you should be on the offensive line, I think, for the Broncos. You had that talent at one time. You're a guy you love those big hogs up front. Talk a little bit about the offensive line. I thought that the number one thing for those guys is I thought they looked good in the run game, but, the passing game just wasn't really on point.
Sean Payton said it looked a little chunky, meaning that there wasn't a lot of fluidness into the first couple drives. And, you can't really base that off of 2 drives and say, hey, man, the Broncos didn't look good. Yes, Trey Franklin had a couple good passes.
He looked good.
Anybody else dropped a couple, right? I believe so. And then our new wide receiver that he got a couple passes. No, Sutton.
Sutton, yeah.
You know, those are he's a
Our newly
he's
paid,
a
right?
$20 million receiver.
Yeah,
he had a couple drops.
Yeah, he did.
All right, so I was watching this game. I'm like, The offensive line protected him. Listen, it's the first preseason game. You can't
give him a break, right?
Yeah, give him a break a little bit. But at the same time, though, Bill, there's only a few preseason games. So once the first game of the season starts against the Titans, you know, you got to get all these kinks out because once regular season starts, those games count. Those games count, and each game that you win or lose affects your playoff standing. But anyways, let's get back to our sponsor here, Suavecito Tequila, Joey. We have the Blanco, we have the Reposado, we have the Cristalino, we have the Anejo, the single barrel Anejo, and then we have the extra Anejo, Joey. Joey, if your restaurant does not have that,
man, you got to demand it.
Joey, if your hotel that you're staying at doesn't have it,
you got to demand it.
If you have that little liquor store down the street that your watering hole, you want to get it,
hey, man, you demand it. And as a matter of fact, if my best friend's house doesn't have it, I demand it.
Get it.
But I'll say this: we've turned so many people on to Suavecito Tequila because we go to our good friend Bill's house. I call it a mansion, and it's really true. Most beautiful home I've ever been to be honest with you. And we go out there on the balcony, and you're killing half a bottle of Suavecito in about an hour, and you look up, and you got that beautiful sunset, and you're with your best friends. And that's what I love this tequila for, is that's the way it's supposed to be. That's why it was made, right?
Absolutely. You guys come over to my house occasionally for a Suavecito happy hour. I'm fortunate enough
we need another one soon
to live there. And at the end of my work day, every day, 4:30 in the afternoon, I pour myself a big Suavecito, go out on my deck that faces west, and I sit there with my notepad making notes of what I want to do tomorrow. And I watch the sunset on the mountains. Wow. No better way to end your day than have Suavecito.
And that's looking at the Rocky Mountains. You're looking at Ball Arena. You're looking at Mile High Sports Stadium and everything. Yeah. Well, as we mentioned, we're going to talk about each week. We're going to talk about a new tequila.
Got the Cristalino today.
Today's a Cristalino, Reposado Cristalino. We start with our award-winning Suavecito Reposado tequila and take it to another level to expand your craft and your Cristalino. A charcoal filtration processes the color from the Reposado and enhances the barrel-rested tequila with the floral and fruity notes that intrigue the senses and delights the palate. The Cristalino represents an aged flavor in any other clear tequila that you can appreciate. Talk about that, Bill, because that's one of my favorites.
Oh, no. There's 3,000 tequilas, different tequilas, sold in the United States. Only 30 of those make a Cristalino. And Suavecito is one of those 30. And we take, as you just mentioned, we take our Reposado tequila, run it through a charcoal filtration system. It removes its color so it looks like a Blanco, but it ain't. It's a Reposado with a little extra charcoaly flavors, and people are loving it.
Well, I've loved it. And Alex and I went out one time when he first came out with the Cristalino, and you had a couple that we had a single barrel Anejo, and you had like a little bottle with a skull and crossbones on that one. And me and Alex got to be one of the first people to ever taste that one. But we did have the Cristalino, and it had been out for about a month. And I've never seen Alex. He had only really drank the Blanco more before then. But man, you got down on that Cristalino, dude, that night. And I remember your smile on your face, Alex, as you were leaving Bill's and we were walking down to our cars. And I'm going to tell you, man, that Cristalino, it looks like a Blanco, but you can drink it neat. You don't need anything with that. I love it. Hold on. Let me just ask him real quick, and then you can get to this. But you drink that neat. It looks like you should be mixing this, but it's better neat, right?
Way better neat, I think, and you guys think. But people that take our regular Reposado and they make specialty mixed drinks with it, this would make that specialty mixed drink even better.
Ooh, I love it. Alex?
Let me ask you though, Bill, when you guys do the charcoal filtration in the barrels, how does it come out white though? That's weird to me. Like I've always thought that would be a brown liquor. Or how does that work?
Well, look, they're right next to each other. Check it out on the camera. We're on TV now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you can see the difference. How does this happen? I agree with you. I want to know how does it turn from this to this with actually gaining great flavor too?
Well, you guys are asking the wrong guy that question. You got to ask that to
Dr.
my
Ramirez?
chief engineer. Yeah, my chief engineer at the distillery. Why the charcoal filtration system removes the brown color and turns it white? I'm not 100% sure, but I can tell you that is exactly what they do.
It's amazing. And I love it because you know what? I try it. I've actually made a margarita with every one of your tequilas other than the extra Añejo. I've made an Añejo margarita, a Cristalino margarita, a Reposado margarita, and a Blanco margarita. And the Cristalino margarita by far was the best one. And I just made them all the same mix, just to be fair. I think I used the Rose's lime juice and made the exact same margarita mix. And I'm going to say this: the Cristalino is a sleeper. Now you can drink it neat, but I'm kind of wimpy compared to Alex.
So Joe, the Cristalino presents
the margarita.
Hold on, Joe.
With
The Cristalino presents an aged flavor that, as a clear tequila drinker, can appreciate that.
Yeah,
Bill, can you elaborate on that?
Oh yeah, to be a Reposado tequila, it only has to be aged in a barrel 2 months. My competition, when it's 2 months and 1 week, they've got it into a bottle and they're selling it. We age our Reposado 9 months.
Wow.
So it's closer to being an Añejo,
Yeah.
but it's still a Reposado because it hasn't been aged a year. It's been aged 9 months. So we extra age all of our tequilas, particularly the Reposado. And then when it's run through that charcoal filtration system, it just comes out super.
Bill, when you see your team that has established all these tequilas that you have done, it starts from the top and it starts from your team, right? You have like Dr. Ramirez is the chief engineer of handling all of your tequila blends and your cultivation in the mountains of Jalisco,
I still think
Mexico.
he's related to you. I really do.
No, I don't think so. Maybe we have.
Look, the guy's a genius.
I would love it.
The guy is a genius.
My point
So
is,
he must be related.
That's
Right?
what I mean.
My point is, though,
there's a lot of
when you
geniuses
compare
in the Ramirez
your
family.
team of expertise
Amazing family
to the Denver Broncos, for example, and how Sean Payton has really organized his team to be. I mean, these guys don't miss a step.
They know their roles.
They know, everybody knows their roles.
Yep.
Coach Sean Payton is very meticulous and diligent on how he handles every position, who's handling what. I think it has a lot to do, like with Suavecito Tequila. You're only as good as your top
ownership,
people, right?
man. Yeah.
No, agreed. And the interesting fact is that I, as you guys know, I had been a college and professional basketball coach. I know how to coach and put teams together and have the assistants, and they know what they have to do. And when it came to my tequila, the first thing I did is I went to the University of Guadalajara, talked to the chairman of the agriculture department, found out that the Dr. Luis Ramirez was the #1 PhD in agave in all of Mexico. And in 15 minutes, I had him on contract. So I've put the best people on my team to help me grow my plants, cultivate my plants, and help give me ideas. People everybody in America knows about agave nectar these days because you can buy it at most stores.
Sure.
18 years ago, I was the only person that knew about agave nectar because at a lunch with Dr. Ramirez, he said a professor of history and a professor of biology were having lunch with him just the day before, and they asked, what can you do with the agave plant other than make tequila? And Dr. Ramirez is the guy that invented agave nectar. And I found out about it 18 years ago, and that's why I put it into my tequila, and that's why we're the only tequila that has agave nectar, 2% agave nectar in our tequila to eliminate the burn going down your throat. It makes our tequila the smoothest tequila ever.
Well, I'll vouch for that because, you know what, to be honest with you, I have had some rough times over the past couple of weeks. And, when I get home at night, I'd pour out a little bit of Suavecito tequila, and I'd be looking at pictures or whatever people do, when they get, and it was like a warm friend, it was like a comfort. And, I think that's how I feel about you, just a comfort, a guide through my life. And I appreciate that tequila so much, because it is kind of like a man's best friend sometimes, right? I mean, you get out and you pour out your favorite bourbon, your favorite tequila, that's what you do sometimes in hard times. And I want to say thank you because it's a great drink and I love it. And you.
My pleasure.
It's a great drink, Joey. Small batch, handcrafted tequila for the true connoisseur. Unlikely beginning from the unforgettable tequila. Listen, guys, I implore you, if you're watching us right now on Mile High Sports, The final word. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you see Bill's bottles right there on our page. It is tequila.
That's
really
the best
is a
starting
game
five
changer.
in history, baby.
Tequila was born from the unlikely combination of curiosity, circumstance, and innovation. The result was unbelievable. Smooth spirit, a bold, complex flavor that will change how you drink tequila. Bill and his team with Jeff Foss, they have never intended to make a tequila, but they did. And here it is. It's called Suavecito Tequila. It's one of the best, and we're going to have this stuff here at number 38 all through the season. We have a halftime report with Bill. Coming up real quick in about 3 weeks. Bill, are you ready for the halftime report?
I am ready.
Yeah, Bill, I know you got some notes on there, man, and I know you did some work, and I'm glad you did that.
Let's get back to the game a little bit.
Hold on, that tells me that Bill is excited about it. What are your notes? What are you looking at, man?
Give us some other things you found out at the game.
Well, we talked about the quarterback situation, but did you recognize that they had 9 wide receivers that all caught passes last night? And the one fellow that I saw, Fred Sherfield.
Yeah.
Trent Sherfield. Yeah.
He was incredible.
He was lights out.
He was lights out.
He signed a 2-year contract last year, so he's on the team.
Well, he's a normal special teams guy, Sherfield. And one thing I will say, though, is Sean Payton really likes him, and he mentioned him about a week ago that he was faster than he thought.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this guy might have a couple specialty plays built in for him, because if you got that special teams demon, sometimes you reward those guys, right? If they're really out there, because special teams is no fun. Anybody who's ever played special teams knows running down on those kicks and punts, you're getting your butt kicked a lot of times, right? You ever played any special teams, Ramirez?
I was always started, Joe.
I get it. So you didn't have to play, but you know what I'm saying. Those guys, I did. I was a punk. I wasn't as good as you. I only played till 9th grade, but I remember always being on special teams because I wasn't one of the better guys.
Yeah.
And you'd get your butt kicked. So all I'm saying is, I'm proud of that.
That's a good one.
Guy,
What's your next note?
Yeah, go ahead. What's the other one? Give me some other things.
Oh, well, the running backs. They had several really good running back, and Watson made some fabulous plays with great runs. And of course their second string defense was great. So they've got we knew the first string defense was going to be good.
Right.
They were a little confused at the beginning, but we've got extra depth.
And that's the important thing about having a team especially when you play in the NFL, because the game is 100%. You're going to get injured. That's 1,000%. You're going to get injured. So who's the next man up?
Next man up, baby.
Who's going to play? Who's going to be the next guy that's going to step into a role? Let's say Bug next goes out. Well, Jared Stidham's ready to go. Yep. If running back goes out, Blake Watson goes in. Guess what?
Receiver goes in, Pat Bryant's ready.
Pat Bryant, number 2, third round pick. In 2002, Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila, visited the Mexican state of Jalisco, Mexico, to purchase an agave farm. Having recently retired from his construction company, Bill wasn't ready to just sit back and take it easy. Bill craved the adventure and possessed the spirit by trying something new. When encouraged by a friend from the region starting to grow agave, Bill embraced the challenge and began his research to find the best land to cultivate his plants. Bill, along with his team, interested in learning the most successful techniques of growing agave, Bill, with Dr. Luis Ramirez, hopefully he's my cousin,
I believe
one of the country's premier experts in agave cultivation. Dr. Ramirez shared with Bill that growing agave in a higher elevation produced the piñas that are nearly 100% sugar, while growing lowlands at 50%. Highland agave develops slowly, allowing more time for the plant to mature. Highland agave creates a smoother spirit with slightly fruity and floral notes to make the tequila. So I guess that's a lot of science work talk, but at the end of the day, when your mountains are growing, you get all the waterfall, right? Yep. It's kind of like a coffee, right? The Highlands coffee and the Lowlands coffee.
Right.
Bill, can you kind of go into that a little bit? Because that's really
important.
important.
That affects the piña.
The piña goes down and the water flows down. And I'm not going to mention all the other tequila companies that are part of that flow. But talk about how that affects your business when it comes to tequila.
Sure.
With the water flow.
Sure. Dr. Ramirez.
September to
June to September.
June to September.
Yeah, June through September. June through September in central Mexico is their rainy season. they'll get up to 40 inches of rain, a little bit every day. It does rain every day, though, for those 3 months or so, and they'll get up to 40 inches of rain. Now, my plants up on the mountain, my plants will absorb as much of that water as they can. The ground will absorb as much of that water as it can, and the rest of that rainwater rolls down the hill to the lowlands farms. So now come October, and I go up to my farm, the sun's shining, my plants are growing like crazy, they're looking good and healthy, and the lowlands agave fields still have an inch of water over the top of their land.
Oh my goodness.
Because they got the same 40 inches of rain I got, but they got an additional 20 inches of runoff coming down the hill to their farm. As a result, my piñas, and that's what you dig out of the ground for the agave plant to make your tequila, is big, but the lowlands agave plants are 50% bigger. Okay. Mine, however, are 100% sugar. Lowlands agave plants are 50% water. That's what makes my plants have the best sugar, the best agave, and that's what makes Suavecito one of the top tequilas, if not the top tequila, sold in the United States.
Well, as I said before, we're so much looking forward to having you on each and every Sunday. This will begin September 7th. Each and every Sunday, the Suavecito halftime show will begin right around 12:15. We'll be able to wrap the show up with Bill, talk about the Bronco game coming up, and, really enjoy what we're doing here with Suavecito. Hopefully we'll have a cocktail every week that we can kind of make and maybe even participate in a little bit. Cause I know, I will say this, you've revolutionized a lot of the way tequila is made. So many people that you and I and Alex have encountered together have said, let me try it, and a little bit, and people coming up saying it's the best tequila I've ever had. I've heard that over 150 times in 7 years. That's 20 times a year. And I'm out with you at all these tasting. 20 times a year, I hear total strangers say, this is the best tequila I've ever tasted. And they grab it out of your hand at the tastings. They don't even wait. They grab the one and you say, wait, hold on, let me sign it for you.
Yes.
And that's always one of the big treats for them. They get a signed bottle. It's just come so far. I'm proud of you. We got about a minute left, and Alex, you can wrap us up, but we got about a minute left. How proud of you or of your entire team, starting with your son, Jeff Foss, who's the CFO, and kind of going down from there?
Oh, I'm really proud. Our company in 2023 to 2024, we grew 50%. 2024 to this year, 2025, we've already grown 100%.
Wow.
Okay. We're going to double in size this year, and we're doubling every year. I just signed a contract with Azerbaijan, signed a contract with the UK. I'm negotiating.
Get ready, England. You're gonna be drinking.
I'm negotiating with 2 different contractors in Canada, one on the east side, one on the west side, and we're talking with a company in India. So we're going to be international. We're already national, but we're going to be international by the end of the year.
Well, Bill, we're proud to be a part of your team. We've gone to the Super Bowl together. We've done a lot of different things together, and this is just awesome. Bar number 38, man. What are your thoughts about this place?
Oh, it's fabulous. I love it. It's a great place, great people, great food, great drinks. And I think the owner implied to me that once my new distributor brought his Suavecito in, which he did this week, that they're bringing in Suavecito.
I love it.
And that's going to be it.
I love it. Well, hey, you'll be able to join us each and every week here at number 38.
Yep.
We'll get everything started each and every Sunday here on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel on Sunday mornings, as we've done for the last 13 years, 11 to 12:30. Don't worry about the early game. We're all Broncos. We'll be breaking down.
It might be 12 to 2.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Still to be determined. But right now, after my conversations with Nate, I believe it's going to be 11 to 12:30. Hopefully, we can go 11 to 1. Where that's the negotiation.
I want to be on the air all day, Joe.
Hey, man, as far as I'm concerned, we may just end up taking this whole thing over. But hey, the other thing is, you see us in studio right now. We might be outside. Come down and join us each and every Sunday for the NFL season. We'll be giving away prizes, gift cards. We'll have different special treats for all of our fans. Bill will be down here with Suavecito Tequila, and we'll be making cocktails with the fans. Make sure if your favorite team is here playing, catch your fantasy games here, and make sure you drop by the booth. Say hi to Alex and me, and we'll make sure and get you taken care of with your first drink of Suavecito Tequila. All right, hey, when we get back, the great Troy Renck, he joins the show to wrap it up on the final word on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila. Suavecito Tequila is unique from any other tequila for three main reasons. The first one is my agave farm in Mexico. It's an hour and a half south of Guadalajara, and it's up in the mountains at a 7,000-foot altitude. So we have mountain-grown agave. Americans hear about mountain-grown coffee and mountain-grown grapes. They never hear about mountain-grown agave, okay? Only 8 or 9% of all tequilas are made with highlands agave, and it's superior to lowlands agave. Number two, I extra age my tequilas. To be a reposado, it has to be stored in a barrel for 2 months. I keep it there for 9 months. The añejo has to be in the barrel 1 year. I keep it 2 years. The extra añejo has to be in the barrel 3 years. I age it 5 years. That extra aging just gives it more body, more texture, and more flavor. And last but not least, we're the only tequila that adds 2% agave nectar back into the tequila. This little bit of agave nectar eliminates the burn going down your throat. Makes Suavecito Tequila the smoothest tequila you will ever drink.
My name is Anthony Mayer, owner and founder of Game Time PDR. We're located in north part of Denver, 6825 Broadway, pretty much on Highway 36 and I-25. So we specialize in repairing hail-damaged vehicles. My technicians have special rods, and the goal is to get the tools underneath the dents. And with the special lights and the angles, they're able to actually massage the metal back to factory standards. We offer a done-for-you service from top to bottom. Literally, the customer doesn't have to do anything. They bring their vehicle to us. We get them under our specialty lights. We write up an estimate, submit them to the insurance, get it approved from the insurance, get it in production, get it washed up, and get it back to the customer. We do waive deductibles up to $1,000, and anybody that mentions the Colorado Spartans, we're giving them a $200 gift card. Go Spartans!
My name is Anthony with Plunge Plus Plumbing. We've been in business for 16 years. We service from Longmont to Castle Rock and everywhere in between. We specialize in service work, underground sewers, water heaters, drain cleaning, faucet repair. If it's in your home, we fix it. We also ensure that our customer service is top-notch and customer satisfaction is our utmost priority. Our motto is honest service, honest price. We're not going to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need or that you don't want. We'll just take care of the issue at hand and be on our way. Most of the time we can get there same day. If you need plumbing, give us a shout. 720-434-5832. Or you can reach us on our website at plungeplus.com. We are proud sponsors of The Final Word.
With millions of page views every year, ColoradoPreps.com is the #1 source for the high school sports community to keep up with the latest news and scores. From football and volleyball to basketball and softball, ColoradoPreps.com provides a year-round hub for coaches, friends, and family to stay connected to their favorite schools and athletes, and keep an eye on their rivals. Covering high school sports from the peaks to the plains, you always get the latest at ColoradoPreps.com.
Spartans! What is your profession? This is blasphemy. This is madness. Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender. This is Sparta!
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila. Suavecito Tequila is unique from any other tequila for three main reasons. The first one is my agave farm in Mexico. It's an hour and a half south of Guadalajara, and it's up in the mountains at a 7,000-foot altitude. So we have mountain-grown agave. Americans hear about mountain-grown coffee and mountain-grown grapes. They never hear about mountain-grown agave, okay? Only 8 or 9% of all tequilas are made with highlands agave, and it's superior to lowlands agave. Number two, I extra age my tequilas. To be a reposado, it has to be stored in a barrel for 2 months. I keep it there for 9 months. The añejo has to be in the barrel 1 year. I keep it 2 years. The extra añejo has to be in the barrel 3 years. I age it 5 years. That extra aging just gives it more body, more texture, and more flavor. And last but not least, we're the only tequila that adds 2% agave nectar back into the tequila. This little bit of agave nectar eliminates the burn going down your throat. Makes Suavecito Tequila the smoothest tequila you will ever drink.
My name is Anthony with Plunge Plus Plumbing. We've been in business for 16 years. We service from Longmont to Castle Rock and everywhere in between. We specialize in service work, underground sewers, water heaters, drain cleaning, faucet repair. If it's in your home, we fix it. We also ensure that our customer service is top notch and customer satisfaction is our utmost priority. Our motto is honest service, honest price. We're not going to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need or that you don't want. We'll just take care of the issue at hand and be on our way. Most of the time we can get there same day. If you need plumbing, give us a shout. 720-434-5832. Or you can reach us on our website at plungeplus.com. We are proud sponsors of The Final Word.
With millions of page views every year, ColoradoPreps.com is the #1 source for the high school sports community to keep up with the latest news and scores. From football and volleyball to basketball and softball, ColoradoPreps.com provides a year-round hub for coaches, friends, and family to stay connected to their favorite schools and athletes, and keep an eye on their rivals. Covering high school sports from the peaks to the plains, you always get the latest at ColoradoPreps.com.
I played with arguably the best corner to ever lace him up in Champ Bailey. And guess what? He, too, was victimized by certain plays, but he never gave up. And that's what I see in PS2, right? The idea of never giving up. Yes, you may get beat, but he is a complete corner.
All right, we are back here at the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. The Final Word with Joe Rico and Alex Ramirez. And at this time, we are bringing on our good friend, Troy Renck from the Denver Post. And first of all, Troy, I want to say good morning or good afternoon to you. It's been a long weekend. Trust me, you especially. We saw you at Boulder Friday. You were out, I'm sure, covering stuff all week long. And, of course, the game last night. Let's start with the Denver Broncos. And it's preseason, which is kind of the king of overreactions, right? If the Broncos do well, you're going to have overreaction. And if the Broncos do poorly, you're going to have overreaction. And then you have a game like last night where a little of both, right? The first team offense and defense, I don't think they look that good, but it's week one. And then the second team and the depth pieces of the team, I thought looked very good, but it's week one. Where are you at on overreaction Sunday? How bad was the Broncos' first units? Were they as bad as I might have thought they were, or is that an overreaction? And how good were the depth pieces? Because Jarrett Stidham looked amazing last night. I think he missed one pass, and I thought he looked like a guy who might come in and bridge for 2 or 3 weeks if Bo gets hurt. And thanks for making time for us.
Yeah, appreciate being on the show with you guys, Joe and Alex. The first team starters' performance was disappointing based on how well they did on Thursday against the ones in the joint practice. And to see the offense really struggle, have to stay on the field for 3 series, 18 total plays, Bo Nix goes 6 for 11 for 31 yards. He was hurt by a Cortland Sutton drop, but then he underthrew two balls that had a chance for big plays, one to Franklin, and then certainly if he had high pointed a ball, put a little more air under it to Sutton, probably have a touchdown. So they have things to work on. It was disappointing. They had a little momentum at the end there. And defensively, it was really just one play that was disappointing. Jaquan McMillan got beat on a 50-yard pass. It's a great pass, but he got beat. And those were the awkward plays that Vance Joseph has talked about, eliminating those kind of chunk plays. But he responded and had an interception. But Sean Payton wasn't particularly happy with what he saw out of the first group. I would say the defense, barring one play, pretty much played well, especially Nick Bonito. And the run game showed some signs, Joe, that they're going to be different. RJ Harvey had 25 yards on 7 carries. Now, again, he can't bust every run outside. It's not college. He'll learn that. But I like what I saw from him. And when you think about, excuse me, my phone is slipping here. When you think about what's going on with that defense, the depth with Lavelle Bailey at inside linebacker, the depth they have in the secondary, I mean, they're set up to be good. Now, Stidham, I'm not going to take much from. I mean, he's a guy who's been in the league 5-6 years. He should do well against second stringers and guys who aren't going to make a team. But it's nice to see it because he hasn't done particularly well in practices. So to see him perform like that, it's a little reassuring because sometimes the most important player on your roster becomes the backup quarterback. Like you said, for a week, maybe it's a drive or a quarter to save your season. And so to see that he's capable of it, it's a nice reminder.
Good afternoon, Troy Renck from the Denver Post, our lead analyst here for the Mile High Sports and Final Word broadcast every Sunday here from number 38. Stidham shines after Nick struggles as the Broncos beat the 49ers 30-9 in the season opener. Stidham threw 2 touchdown passes following a lackluster performance from Bo Nix and the Denver starters, and the Broncos beat the 49ers 30-9 in the preseason opener. When I say something like that, what does that mean to you?
Well, again, I'm not going to put – it wasn't a lackluster. They only had 3 series. Now, if Knicks had played a half and we saw that, or 3 quarters, I mean, I'm saying it's not a concern, but then you're like, okay, that's it's really disappointing. It was just disappointing in the context of how well they played Thursday, and they just didn't come out with any momentum. Those first 2 drives offensively to get a safety was a poor decision by Bo Nix, and they didn't throw to the tight end. Again, one thing I caution people, especially when evaluating the first string offense, they're not going to show a lot of stuff. They're not going to show what exactly they're going to do with Evan Ingram, and they're not going to show exactly, some of the naked bootlegs and stuff that they're going to add wrinkles to this offense. So understand that it's a little vanilla offensively. That doesn't excuse the lack of execution and some of the penalties. That doesn't. I'm not saying that. But for folks who want to see Knicks go 14 for 15 and run special plays, like some of that's not going to happen. They're just not going to show it. But I would expect there's going to be a little bit of sense of urgency at practice this week. Sean Payton mentioned that he had 14 things that pissed him off after the game, and most of them didn't have anything to do with the game. So I can tell you that, practice starting on Tuesday, probably going to be a little uncomfortable. And Thursday, I would expect to see the intensity against Arizona in that joint practice. And I want to see what that first string offense looks like. And can they carry it into the game? My guess is, Alex, they play a half, because they typically won't play in that third game. So that's important for momentum. If they play poorly, is it the end of the world? No, it's not. Like people on my social media feed, Bo Nix is a bust. See, it's obvious. I'm like, my God, stop. It's 3 series in a preseason game, folks. Like, did you lose on the over on the first quarter? Please hold it. Take a breath here. I mean, it's preseason.
Relax.
He went to Jared. He saved your bet, okay? He went to Jared.
Hey, let me just say this. The death trap is trolling in the comments, right? I mean, you hear and you see them, and I just think that some of them are just so far, they're funny, right? I mean, you get to the real extremes from some of these guys where it's like, I think the Broncos are a little too important in your life. I think you need to tone it down. This is week 1 of the preseason. And I think Alexton has made a great point all week about this. This isn't the only time we're going to see preseason football. It lasts till about week 3 of the NFL regular season, right? Because there's only 3 of these, and coaches love to change their mind on guys, and these position battles actually extend a little bit sometimes past the preseason. As the playbook evolves, I think you're going to see a better version of the Broncos offense, but they keep it very vanilla as well in preseason, right? You didn't see anything special. This is kind of more of an audition for our new guys. So I think let's move to those guys. Let's start with the draft pick. Jahdae Barron, I thought acquitted himself well, but I think the guy I was most impressed with was Pat Bryant. Can you speak a little bit as to what some of the new guys did in your eyes? Because that's who I'm kind of looking at.
Yeah, the thing about Barron that's is impressive early. He's got versatility. He can move all over the field. He's inside, outside. I think there's going to be times he blitzes from the safety position. The other thing is he's a sound tackler. Ryan Harris said on the broadcast last night that he talked to a scout, and Ryan broadcasts the Notre Dame games on radio. Yep, he said that the scout said he's never seen, he's the only cornerback he's ever charted that never missed a tackle in college, meaning Barron. And now again, he probably did, but it just gives you an understanding that really good tackler, really a guy who can stop someone at the sticks. That's a nice skill to have as a rookie, where a lot of rookies don't like contact. Pat Bryant just keeps getting open, does good things. He's a little more physical than you think. Will he end up in a little Jordan Humphrey role or something more expansive? I think Troy Franklin showed that why he's had a good camp. He continues to get separation. We didn't see much from Vele. Again, he's been slowed, I think, by a knee injury. They haven't said that, but he has not been the same guy. He looked a little better this past week, but that could open a door if Vele doesn't respond physically and start to look like the guy we saw last year in camp. Could it open this door for Pat Bryant? He's an encouraging player, big guy, a guy that catches everything thrown his way. So certainly someone to keep an eye on. RJ Harvey turned heads with his ability to put his foot in the ground, get downhill and they ran him on the wide zone. You guys noticed last night.
Not a lot in between the tackles.
Yeah, they've tweaked their run game to use more wide zone. Now again, he's got to understand when you're running wide zone, there's this patience of the dance of step, foot in the ground, down.
Back. Yeah.
But he looked good too. It was encouraging.
Yep. I look at the rushing yards from last night, and Jarrett Stidham led the Broncos in rushing. He had 3 rushes for 36 yards. And then there was Tyler Bidet, 5 carries, 32 yards, 6.4 carries. His longest run was 7 yards. Blake Watson, very surprised, 4 rushes, 28 yards, 7.0 carrying average. And then RJ Harvey, our second-round pick, 7 rushes, 25 yards, 3.6. His longest run was 11. Then Audric Estime, which is very surprising. He's the youngest guy on the Broncos team out of the University of Notre Dame. He looked like he had 8 carries and 21 yards, 2.6. So it's really hard to really gauge anything at this point because they were going against maybe San Francisco's second and third team guys, right, Trey?
One thing that surprised me is they basically were trying to get Harvey completely immersed in the running game. They're pushing to get him ready. You don't give a rookie 7 carries with first team if you don't believe he's going to be a factor on opening night. So that's an interesting thing to see how eager they are to get him involved in the offense, because Dobbins didn't have a carry. And I think Dobbins is going to be the starter. Now, Dobbins, if he's not, he's going to be their third down back. In case of Estime, the run blocking at the end of the game was not good when he was in there, but he's facing an uphill challenge to make the team because Tyler Bidet and even Blake Watson turned heads last night. Bidet is a guy that they like so much. He was active last year for the playoff game after missing essentially 13 weeks, and they made him active over Estime. Estime's saying, that's behind him. He doesn't even remember that now, but I don't see Estime making the team as we sit here today. He's got time to change minds.
Youngest guy on the team, right?
Well, yeah, that didn't help. And again, the youngest guy on the team is great if you're in a part of a rebuilding plan. Alex, it's not great when your coach is talking about winning a Super Bowl. They just don't have patience for some of this. So if Estime is cut, someone will sign him. But I still think they could carry 4 running backs and then have Burton clear waivers, go to the practice squad and activate him on game day. But right now, those 4 are clearly, got Harvey, you've got Dobbins, you've got Jaleel McLaughlin and Bidet, and, Blake Watson's pushing the envelope. And Bidet was playing on special teams last night on coverage units. So keep an eye on that. That helps you make the team. The other guy, Crawshaw, what the heck's going on with the punter, guys? I mean, Riley Dixon was no great shakes last year, but holy crap. I mean, this kid's got to start figuring it out. I mean, he has not been impressive in camp at all. Like, he's got to get consistent because Sean Payton plays the math game. The 10 yards matter everywhere on the field. Yep. I mean, this kid better get into rhythm, or we're going to see. I would not be shocked if he struggles again.
That's the punter from
hold on. First of all, let me just say one. He's a draft pick. Now, let me just say this: a lot of punters are undrafted free agents. I'd say probably 50% of the punters in the league. Ryan Stonehouse, one of the best punters I've ever seen in my life, right up the street at CSU. The guy could add, for a little change. But the point is, it's a position at the mile high altitude that I just take for granted. The guy should average 45 grand. I mean, I've seen Tom Ruin. I've seen some great punters in this town. And this guy has got a long way to go before I'm going to trust him in an NFL football game. He looked absolutely terrible last night. And I'm sorry, maybe you can't make definitives about some of this stuff, but punting's a pretty basic thing. It's only going to get harder when there's 100,000 or 90,000 visiting fans. And I understand where he played at Florida, but let me just say this. It's a guy I don't trust at your own 1 yard line or in the back of the end zone yet. If that's what I saw that slop last night, no, I expect George Payton is already on the phone with some agents. No, I don't think he's fine. I think you'll see competition in camp. Now, I don't think you'll ever see that. And on the antithesis of that is Will Lutz, by the way, who I love. And I think he has a chance. I think he's one of the top 5 kickers in the league. So I just think that Jeremy, it's Crawshaw. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Crawshaw.
Crawshaw, yeah. I'm going to say this. He didn't quit. If he does not show up on the field at Arizona and make a couple crushing kicks, I think that's going to be there'll be competition by next week here.
Well, here's the problem is that he's not showing consistency in practice. Now, he shows a big leg and has wow kicks, but he's been inconsistent in practice as well. So, Sean Payton talks about, it's like confidence is bred from results or demonstrated ability. At some point, you got to see it from the kid. Because like you said, you can't get into, you're probably fine against the Titans, but on the road against the Colts, you find yourself in a 1-score game at your own 18 in the fourth quarter, and he throws out a 27-yard punt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. And last night when he finally got into one, the hang time was off. I mean, it was like a line drive that a Rockies hitter would dive for this season. So, I mean, at some point,
that's a bad topic right now on the show.
You got to figure it out. Like, the ball's got to be in the air.
Can you ask him the poll question? When you're done, I want to ask him the poll question.
Hey, real quick. We were, Joey and I and yourself, we were at the 72nd annual Media Sports Fall Day at the University of Colorado, your alma mater, on Friday. And we talked to Coach Prime and had a good chance to really talk to the players. You dove into a lot of different athletes and talked about what's going on. And then real quick, before we dive in media day, but I'm going to say this real quick, Troy. I waited about a day because I wanted to let this resonate a little bit. Shedeur Sanders, 14-23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns on Friday night. And Coach Prime said, yeah, I'm going to watch the game. Of course I'm going to watch the game. It's my son. But I believe after 143 teams passed on
143
him, picks passed on him, he went to the 5th round at number 144th pick. He made the NFL look like a bunch of fools. And I don't know what your take is on that, but listen, yeah, he was playing against second stringers, third stringers, whatever you want to call it. He looked good. And I was so happy for him. I'm so proud of Shedeur. Yeah, he's a little cocky. Maybe he's a little bit outspoken. Man, but he put a display on Friday night for the Cleveland Browns. What were your thoughts on his performance on Friday night, Troy?
I mean, what I liked about him is the moment wasn't too big for him. He looked the part. It is weird how some guys go from physically wearing a college uniform and they get in the NFL and they look small. They look timid. They look scared. They look indecisive. None of that was on display with him. And he showed better mobility, frankly, than we saw at times at CU.
Great.
Again, he hasn't been getting any reps with the ones. He's been on the side. And part of it, again, this is the danger of playing for your dad for your entire life. The playbook they ran at CU was not complicated. It wasn't, whether you think Pat Shurmur was calling the plays or not, I'm telling you, he got to Cleveland and he was behind Gabriel. He's behind Pickett because of his lack of knowledge of the playbook. It takes time to catch up. I think he can certainly do that. And physically, it's not a comparison. He is so much better physically than either Gabriel or Pickett. So I hope they keep an open mind about that. It sounds like they are. The reason he was on the side field throwing to ball boys, it wasn't to ostracize him. It was, let's make sure he understands the playbook before we put him in certain situations. And as long as they're being fair to that process, okay. And if they are, he should be the backup when the season starts. He's not going to start over Flacco. He won't. There's no chance he starts over Flacco to start the season. I'd say zero chance. But if he's the backup, Flacco's not the future. So you would see Shedeur playing like in week 5 or week 6.
Look, man, Flacco looked pretty good. He led him to the playoffs 2 years ago, so he can.
I mean, Flacco is 92 years old. Like, he's not the future.
Right.
And
so,
you don't want to put Shedeur out there if he's not totally ready and, go 0-4 and have 8 picks. Like, there's no rush for it, but you need him to be the backup so he plays. He's better than Dylan Gabriel. He's better than Pickett. Pickett should be cut or traded, and then that makes Shedeur the backup. Then you're going to keep Gabriel because you used a 3rd-round pick on him. But I'll go back to this on Gabriel. Gabriel played like 6 years in college, and he's not very big. I mean, I think they list him at 5'11". He looks like Bryce Young.
Yeah,
he looks like he's 5'9". When they had Mike Tannenbaum on the draft, when he got drafted in the 3rd round by the Browns, I'm driving to the Broncos listening to it, and they asked Tannenbaum, a former GM of the Dolphins and Jets, and they said, do you think he's going to have a long career in the NFL? He paused and said, as a player? Exactly. He's not the guy. It's Shedeur. But I will say this, Alex, you got to be fair. Part of the reason that Shedeur dropped, it's the NFL can't stand sacks. Coaches can't stand sacks. So you have to assign how much blame was Shedeur the line. And the second thing is he bombed 2 or 3 interviews that in the NFL where everyone talks, it really hurt him. Should it have? I'm not saying it should have had. Like, some teams should say, I don't give a crap what the Giants think. But if you bomb those interviews as a quarterback, that is such a big deal because you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Should it be is a different question. But once you do it, the league is so interconnected, it's like this guy doesn't get it. But now the Browns are seeing he does. He just does it a little differently than they're used to.
Well, I'm going to say this because I want to ask you the poll question before we get you off. I'm rooting for the guy. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't think any of us do. It's just like with the Broncos. All this is way too early. I mean, this is just fun to have football back. It's nice to have the water cooler talk, but I don't think anybody's going to be cashing any paycheck or paying any paychecks on any of this week 1 stuff. That could change real quick. The narrative in preseason game week 2 can change everything we're talking about real quickly. But I do want to talk a little bit about the final words. Suavecito poll question today. In a regulation 9-inning baseball game, who wins, Troy? The Colorado Rockies or the Savannah Bananas? Who you got in that kind of a baseball game? And we'll even play whatever rules you want, banana rules or regular major league rules. I've got the Bananas. Absolutely. Troy, your take.
No one's more critical of the Rockies than I am. The Rockies would destroy them. I mean, the Bananas are the Harlem Globetrotters. That's it. It's fun. It's great. It's a musical with a bat and a glove, and kids love it. But, I mean, the best prospect on the Rockies from like 10 years ago is one of their players never even got close to the big leagues. They're not big league players. That's why they wouldn't stand a chance. I understand the question. It feels like at times the Rockies could lose to anybody this year, and they're back on pace to have the worst record ever because of their loyalty to incompetence. But I will say, there's no way in heck the Bananas would beat them, but everyone looked like they had a great time last night.
I know, Troy, you used to cover the Rockies for a long time. You were
15 years. Yep.
Have they hit bottom?
Come on, man. You don't think Ubaldo Jimenez or
I think Ubaldo might be able to still. I got Ubaldo maybe
ripping off of Freeland, man. Come on, man.
I don't know, man.
You don't think so?
Yeah, it was cool to see Vinny get an at bat and see Ubaldo there. And again, I know friends of mine that went, they enjoyed it and it was great. It's not for me necessarily, but I understand the appeal. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's great for kids because baseball really struggles.
Was it sold out? Was it sold out, by the way?
Sold out. And it'll be sold out again today.
And this was my argument. Do you think that the incompetence of this team would make that it'd be an easy sellout for a team like the Bananas? And maybe there's more emphasis put on a team like that by these little kids and by the adult fans here. This isn't a baseball town. The Bananas have appeared.
Oh, no. This is a baseball region. When the Rockies are good, Joe, they're more popular than the Avs and Nuggets. It's not close.
Yeah.
That's what's so disheartening about what they've done to this
so
team.
long, though. I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. Let me say this. Could they make this up quick? Just like I said, the narrative could change from week 1 to week 2 in a preseason game. Could some winning baseball, I mean, don't people become cynical after just watching people lose for so long? Don't you become kind of conditioned? Because maybe that's where I'm at. I'm just expecting them to lose baseball games because the front office and ownership, to me, just don't care about the product. And I think about until you love the product, I don't see how the product gets any better. And I'm frustrated. I'm a frustrated, born and raised here in Colorado, love the game of baseball. You know how much I talk to you about Brady and my 11-year-old and that kind of stuff. I'm a grassroots guy. I just can't buy this stuff anymore. It's frustrating. 30-81 speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're terrible, and they've earned every bit of this record. Could it change quickly? It wouldn't change quickly. In baseball, it's harder because they legitimately need like 10 to 15 new employees, starting with a baseball president, a new GM, 10 new scouts, and people in the minor league coaching. It's got to be all the way through and change how you do business. And the only way so I would go to the Brewers and get their assistant GM, go to the Guardians, go to the Rays and get 7 of their scouts. Like you need completely new eyes on this.
The Rays at the break.
You've got to have completely new set of eyes on it. But the only way it will work is if Dick Monfort steps away from the baseball side. He's not selling the team. That's not happening. You don't promote your son and then sell the team. That's not. But you've got to have Dick step away from the baseball side. They've had 13 losing seasons in the last 15 years. They're terrible. How much more evidence do you need to see? And most of the people involved in those last 15 years are still with the Rockies. Still making the decisions. Nowhere else in pro sports would you be loyal to that type of record.
Nick, go ahead.
You guys wonder why people drink Suavecito tequila.
Nick, our baseball analyst.
Go ahead, Nick Arts, real quick.
Yeah, no, he's saying everything I've been saying the last 3 years, and I appreciate it.
3 years.
No, but he proved my point though. It's not going to happen overnight. This isn't football. Yeah. And you even asked me that earlier, and I told you it's going to take a few years. They have prospects. But it's a matter of things changing in this organization. It's going to slowly change because until other things change in the front office, you're going to have your Sparks here and there. You're going to have your McMahons, your Arenados, but they're not going to be all in one team.
Well, listen, first of all,
Nick, Joe, let me finish my last one. I'm going to put a bow on my last question.
Please, yes, go ahead.
Obviously, we talked to Coach Prime, and he didn't give us a definitive answer of who the starting quarterback will be against Georgia Tech. Actually 3 weeks ago would have been last night or 2 nights ago. What are your thoughts on the Buffs moving forward? Game 1, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets come here August 29th.
19 days.
Boulder. What do we think? How that's going to play out? I mean, you can't even really gamble on that one. And I'm not talking about a gambling site on that, but I'm just saying, what are your thoughts? You were there. You talked to almost every
everyone on the team.
Defensive backs, defensive linemen. Coach, everybody, what are your thoughts?
I walked away from that press conference believing Caden Salter's going to start.
Me too.
And I think that they're going to find ways to try to use Julian Lewis, but he looks every bit of 17. He's just a little undersized for me right now. I watched him play in high school a couple of times on ESPN last year. He's got a remarkable arm, but for me, when he reclassified, he just needs physically to add, 15 to 20 pounds. So I believe Salter's going to start. And I say that for 2 reasons. A, the way he was talking in the press conference, he was in the middle between Staub on one side and Lewis on the other. It certainly felt like he was the guy. And then Dion emphasized over and over, we're going to be physical. We're going to be physical. We're going to run the ball. which guy runs the ball? I mean, it's pretty obvious to me. So I think they're going to be they're going to run the ball better. And because of that, that's why they're going to go with Salters. And then if you get behind in a game, 14-0, I think the kid goes in because he gives you your best chance to win. So I think they're both going to be involved. But if I had to guess right now, I think Salters is going to start against Georgia Tech.
Well, I think the other thing is different playbook, a little bit different, a little altered. Salter mentioned a couple times they're implementing some of the Liberty attack, and if you watch Salter at Liberty, it was very run heavy. They did a lot of different quarterback runs. I think the thing that I probably would say is I looked at this as a team. I don't want to say rebuilding, but you lost the all-time leader in many passing categories and maybe one of the best players to ever play at the university. I mean, that's a pretty big shoes to fill. These aren't just a couple guys. You also had many players drafted in the NFL who've acquitted themselves pretty well in this week one. So what I'm saying is I don't think you just, even with the transfer portal and the good recruiting you've done, I don't think you just replace a Travis Hunter and a Shedeur that easily. I think there's a drop-off between Travis and their next best player to this year, and there's a big drop-off between whoever wins this quarterback competition and Shedeur. That alone tells me it's not going to be 9 this year. But 6 or 7 wins and some promise, maybe some growth. Juju playing well the last 3 games. I mean, it's kind of a developmental. Let's not say rebuilding, but how about call it a developmental year? Would you say that's fair?
Again, when you pay Dion the amount of money you're paying him now, you got to go to a bowl. So for me, that means 7. That means 7 wins. And it's going to be hard because of every reason you just mentioned, Joe. You don't just replace Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. For me, it's going to come down to their offensive line is reshaped around the running game. They need Dallin Hayden to play well. They need Michael Welch to play well. They have got to run the football to open up play action and then give their defense a chance to create pressure that way when you're leading in games, because they're not going to be able to win, for me, 34-30, 45-4. Like, they're not built like that anymore. So, but because of the extension with Dion, because of what the hype, the expectation is a bowl every year going forward. It might be you just barely get in, but in a way it's kind of a transitional year. But even in a transitional year, the expectation for me is they can get to a bowl game.
Hey, real quick before we leave, how do they get your content?
At Troy Renck on Twitter.
What's going on this week for Troy Renck?
Yeah, at Troy Renck, TroyRenck on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, and of course I'm on Blue Sky, I think it's called, right? I'm on there. And of course, denverpost.com/sports. All of my columns are there.
Right? You're not on Snapchat, right? You can't be.
I do not do Snapchat. That's the one thing.
Come on, man. Snapchat, man. I mean, come on.
I'm too old, Joe. So are you.
We're all too old, man. I think there'd be
How about
some
TikTok? You on TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok or Snapchat.
Oh my God, I love
now, I could just see Troy maybe with like a Cookie Monster wig and maybe doing a TikTok dance. I think that is. Can we maybe get that into the 2025 repertoire?
Come on, man. Leave me alone.
I'll join you. Maybe I can do Super Grover.
Hey, Troy, thanks so much.
Have a great time. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
We'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, the great Troy Renck. Follow him on Twitter at Troy Renck. Hey, that will wrap it up. Alex, what a heck of a week, man.
He just broke it down, man.
He's amazing, man. I think what it is there's so much to unwind in that.
Temper our expectations for a lot of these teams.
Well, sure, it's week 1.
You can't make an overreaction with the Broncos.
No.
You can't freak out about the Rockies and the Savannah Bananas.
Right, yeah.
You can't freak out about the Media Day.
Right.
You guys just let things play out, man.
Hey, but you know what? Let me just say this. Let me just say this. It is anticipation. That's what it is. It's the anticipation of what CU is going to do. It's so good to have football back. For everyone who truly loves the game, the preseason, you don't know what's really going to happen, but that's what we're paid to do, is create topics, you're leaving this podcast, this YouTube show,
we're going to do an after.
You're thinking differently.
Overtime here.
Hey, man, real quick, though, man, I just want to say thanks so much to our great friends, Bill Foss and Troy Renck, for joining us. We will be on next Sunday at 12 o'clock.
Number 38 here.
Amazing, man.
Nate and Doug and Danny
and Doug
and
Nick, of course, behind the
Nick.
glass. Cannot wait until next week. We are out of here, though. It is time for us. You can stay tuned on the Final Word Facebook page if you're on that right now. We'll be doing an overtime segment here at number 38.
Just 5 minutes.
Hey, you got it. Hey, when we return next Sunday, the Broncos will have played another game against the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see overreaction week number 2. And can the Rockies win a game this week? We'll find out when you return next Sunday on the Final Word YouTube channel.
Nick gets pissed.